Good afternoon, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. Purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred and more likely than not that you're the person who committed the crime. Of course, as you stand before me today, I presume that you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings, unless and until the state attorney's office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release today. That is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this afternoon. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you haven't had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. Now I need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Y'all solemnly swear or affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Miranda Fritz. Afternoon, Miranda. What's your date of birth?
3/7/1998.
All right, Miranda, you're here on a charge of burglary of a dwelling. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
All right. And it looks like you have the public defender in the other case as well?
Yes.
Okay. State any history other than the open case?
There's the open case. There's an adjudication, petty theft, 2018 out of Hernando, and a PTI for petty theft, 2018 out of Hernando. And there was a delinquency charge back in 2014 for loitering and prowling. And single source pen.
And Miranda, it looks like you live on WPA Road in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
No, sir, not anymore.
Okay. Where do you live now?
3233 Stonehead Street.
Okay. How long have you lived there?
That's my grandmother's address. I've been residing there for about 5 years, sir.
Okay. All right. I'll leave the bond for the arrest warrant here, which is $2,000. I will move this to the 21st of June, which that looks like where your other case is, so we'll have them there together. And the public defender, I'm sure, will come see you before you go to court, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sandra Hare. Afternoon, Sandra. What's your date of birth?
December 21st, 1963.
All right, Sandra, you're here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Heinemann. He found probable cause for one count of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
I guess the public defender.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender. State what you tell me.
Showing a probation violation in 1991 out of Hillsborough. Looks like the underlying charge is possession of cocaine. Adjudicated guilty for criminal mischief in 1991 for criminal mischief out of Hillsborough. Adjudicated guilty for prostitution 1991 out of Hillsborough. Possession of drug paraphernalia. Adjudication 1991 out of Hillsborough. Possession of cocaine conviction 1991 out of Hillsborough. There's additional prostitution charges and probation violation charges, but I'm not showing dispositions. Adjudicated guilty in 1990 for prostitution out of Hillsborough. And showing, again, it looks like prostitution, 1992, no disposition. That's what I'm showing for her history. She does have multiple names, so I don't know if there might be different.
You got nothing since the early 90s.
That's what I'm looking at, Your Honor. So, again, there's multiple Sandra Lynn
came
Weiss,
out along,
Cassandra Bonanno, and Cassandra Weiss listed here, so I don't know if
Okay. Sandra, I got an address for you on Punch Road in Dade City. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
Less than 6 months.
Do you have a job these days?
I have become permanently disabled due to epilepsy.
Okay.
And I have other medical issues.
Okay. All right. I'm going to set your bond at $5,000. I'll have you back in court on July 19th. Very important that if you bond out, you go see the public defender right away, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie Meyer. Afternoon, Jamie. What's your date of birth?
12/20/1988.
Jamie, I have a warrant for you out of Polk County. The judge that signed the warrant found probable cause for a violation of probation and set your bond at no bond. It's an out-of-county warrant, so I can't change that. We will let Polk County know that you're here and ready to go. We'll give them 5 days to come get you. If you're still here in 5 days, then they'll bring you back to see me, and I'll find out what the problem is, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Shannon Morris. Afternoon, Ms. Morris. What's your date of birth?
12/8/88.
Ms. Morris, the charge is battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
I'd like defender, please.
I'll point the PD, state.
I'm showing some criminal traffic charges out of Pasco in 2014 and 2009, but I'm not sure what those charges were. Adjudication withheld on driving while license suspended in 2006 out of Hernando. There's another criminal traffic out of Pasco. Again, I'm not showing, 2005. Not sure what that charge is, and a single source offender. And so the court's aware the victim is present, had some concerns regarding having 3 children in common, and he travels for work and is actually traveling out of county to Miami this week. So he wanted to address peaceful contact. If you would
Okay.
address it.
Mr. Caratini? Mike? Raise your right hand for me, sir. Solemnly swear firm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
State your name.
Jim Caratini.
Mr. Caratini, what do you want? You're interested in having contact with Ms. Morris, is that correct?
Yes.
And how long have you known Ms. Morris?
8 years.
You have children in common?
Yes.
How many?
3.
Ages?
I have a 10-year-old, a 8-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
All right. And you guys been living together the whole time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you concerned that Ms. Morris is going to hurt you or harm you in any way?
No, sir.
Anyone threaten you or coerce you to get you to come here and seek contact?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. And Shannon, are you working these days? Did I ask you that?
Yes, as a sales executive in Tampa.
Okay. All right, Shannon, I'm going to set your bond at $50. Condition of the bond is that you two can have peaceful contact. It's always a crime to touch Mr. Caratini any way he does not wish to be touched. It could be a violation of conditions of pretrial release if you so much as raise your voice. So any contact you have must be capable of being described as peaceful contact. Sir, as far as you're concerned, if something should happen that makes you feel like you need to call 911 again, call 911. This doesn't change any of that. They'll come running just as fast as they ever would have. Otherwise, Ms. Morris, you're going to be back in court on the 12th of July. Very important that you speak to the public defender when you get out. Mr. Caratini, it's very important that you speak to the state attorney's office about what your intentions or concerns or desires with this case are as well, all right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you, folks. Carrie O'Connell. Afternoon, Carrie. What's your date of birth?
12/30/86.
All right, Carrie, I have 4 warrants here. They're all out of Polk or Pasco County. In each case, a judge signed a warrant, found probable cause for a violation of probation, and in each case, set your bond at no bond. I can't change those; they're out of county warrants. We'll let Pasco know you're here and ready to go. I'll give Pasco 5 days to come get you. It never takes 5 with Pasco, of course. They're right next door. But if for some bizarre reason you're still here in 5 days, they'll bring you back to see me, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Brittany Russell. Afternoon, Brittany. What's your date of birth?
10/29/1987.
All right. Brittany, looks like you're currently on probation, felony probation. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is a probable cause arrest for a violation of that probation. There is probable cause for the VOP.
Yes, sir.
As to that charge, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the public defender. Bond, of course, is going to be no bond since it's a VOP. I'm going to change your date, Brittany, to July 9th. They told you the 19th. I'll have you back on July 9th. Public defender is going to come see you before then, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Melanie Hancock? Oh, hang on, Melanie. Melanie, what's your date of birth?
5/1984.
Melanie, the charge is trespass. State, is this something can be resolved this afternoon, or?
Your Honor, I did look at this, but it seems she also received a notice to appear for theft 30 minutes prior to this, so I'm not comfortable resolving
Okay.
this without having
Okay. Melanie, there's probable cause for the trespass. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
I just want to resolve it today.
Yeah, I asked about that because you have another pending case, and so we're not going to resolve it today. So you have to tell me if you want to have the public defender.
Public defender.
There you go. Any other prior history?
She's an adjudication for DUI with property damage, 2015 out of Pasco. Adjudication withheld for reckless driving, 2015 out of Pasco. Withhold paraphernalia, 2015 out of Pasco. Withhold possession or acquiring controlled substance by fraud, 2015 out of Hernando. And withhold disorderly conduct, brawling, fighting, corrupt public morale, 2010 out of Pasco, and a withhold resisting without violence, 2010 out of Pasco, and a withhold petty theft, 2002 out of Pasco. And she is showing as a single source offender.
Melanie, I've got an address for you on Hurricane Drive in Weekiwachi. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
On and off for 4 years.
Do you have a job these days?
I did until I got arrested.
What were you doing?
Working at Walmart part-time.
Okay.
I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at $500. I'll have you back July 12th. If you get out, make sure you contact the public defender right away, okay?
Okay, so my bond is $500?
That's right.
Okay.
Thank you. Kristen Brown? Afternoon, Kristen. What's your date of birth?
March 25th, 1970.
Kristen, you're here on a charge of driving under the influence. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
Showing an adjudication for misuse of the 911 system and disorderly intoxication, 2018 out of Pinellas. DUI property damage adjudication, 2012 out of Orange County. Adjudication for trespass and disorderly conduct, 2012 out of Osceola. Adjudication trespass to occupied structure, 2009 Palm Beach. Withhold adjudication resisting arrest, 2008 St. Lucie. Domestic battery was dropped in 2008 St. Lucie. Withhold of adjudication on leaving the scene of an accident in 2006 Palm Beach. She's showing as a multi-source offender, but I was not provided with the history for honesty.
Okay. Ms. Brown, I have an address for you on Gulf to Bay Boulevard in Clearwater. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
A little over a year.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir. I work for my family business.
What's the business?
We own golf courses and hotels.
Okay. All right. I'll leave the bond at the $1,000. I'll have you back in court on the 12th of July. Very important that you contact the public defender if you get out, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Clint Davis? Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
10/13/1985.
Clint, the charge is driving on a suspended license. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, state.
Showing an adjudication for driving while license suspended in April of this year out of Hernando, adjudication for petty theft 2018 out of Hernando, adjudication for driving while license suspended and driving while license suspended 2018 out of Hernando. The no motor vehicle registration charge was dropped. A drop battery in 2016 out of Pasco. Withhold of adjudication resisting without violence 2013 out of Pasco. Withhold grand theft 2013 out of Pasco. Showing another criminal traffic charge 2011 out of Pasco, but I'm not sure what that charge was, and he's showing us a single source offender.
All right. Clint,
Your Honor, she's currently on probation, so a warrant will be forthcoming
for Dwellets?
for Dwellers and petty theft.
Okay. And Clint, I've got an address for you on Philatelic Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long you been there?
About 2 years.
All right. You have a job these days?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Landscaping.
Okay.
Radar lawn service.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond on this at $1,000. This is coming back on the 19th of July. Since you are on probation, it appears that you've picked up a new charge. They're going to swear out a warrant for a VOP on the probation. The bond on that will be no bond. You certainly are free to bond out on this before that warrant shows up if you wish, but eventually you're going to get arrested on that warrant. If you stay in jail and then that warrant is served, you'll ultimately be entitled to credit time since you got there yesterday on the VOP. But that decision will be yours, whether you're going to get out now and go back when they get the VOP warrant, all right?
Okay.
All right, so for now, this one's coming back July 19th. If you do bond out, contact the PD right away.
Okay.
Thank you. Nicholas Earl. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
1/16/85.
All right, Nicholas has 4 charges today: possession of methamphetamine, possession of crack cocaine, possession of a prescription drug without a prescription, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
I'm showing an adjudication for cannabis 2014 out of Pasco. That was a misdemeanor case. Adjudication for violation of domestic violence injunction 2014 out of Pasco. Adjudication for violation of domestic violence injunction 2013 out of Pasco. Adjudication for burglary of a structure and dealing in stolen property 2009 out of Marion. Adjudication for disorderly intoxication, criminal mischief, drug paraphernalia, resisting without violence 2007 out of Marion. Withhold of adjudication, possession of cannabis, misdemeanor charge 2005 out of Marion. Adjudication of the violation, the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Drug Control Act 2003 out of Pasco, and there is some juvenile history out of Pasco in 2001.
Okay.
Single source offender.
Nicholas, where you been staying lately?
Like all around, really.
Okay. Do you have any place that you get mail?
No.
Okay. Do you have a job?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll leave the bonds per the schedule, which is $2,000 on the meth and the cocaine, $1,000 on the 2 misdemeanors. That's a total of $6,000. I have you back in court on the 19th of July. If you get out, it's important that you contact the public defender. If you can't get out, they're going to come see you before you go to court, okay?
All right.
Thank you. Troy Hendel? Afternoon, Troy. What's your date of birth?
7/6/82.
Troy, the charge today is battery. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
Showing an action was dropped for battery in January of this year in Hernando County. Showing that's all at in-state, and he is showing a multi-source offender. There's a guilty disposition for battery, domestic in nature from 2014. I believe it's Illinois. An action was direct filed in 2008 for aggravated battery with a weapon, no disposition. 2003, a domestic battery, no disposition. a dismissed battery in 2002, a dismissed burglary in 2000, withhold 2000 for cannabis charge, and it says direct file burglary, but no disposition, and that was in 1997.
Troy, I have an address for you at on Campbell Drive in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
Little less than a year.
Okay. Does Zachary live at the same address, or he just live nearby?
No, negative, no. He used to live nearby, but he doesn't live anywhere near there, and that's kind of where the altercation
Right. All right. So you guys don't live together or nearby or anything?
Negative, no, sir.
Very good. Troy, you got a job these days?
No, sir, not right now. I'm actually at that residence taking care of my grandpa.
Okay.
I was wondering if this is something we could take care of today.
We can't with batteries, unfortunately, Troy. I'm gonna cut your bond in half. I'll set it at $500.
Okay, thank you.
If you bond out, however, you can have no contact with Troy. No contact means no contact of any kind. Don't call, don't write, don't email, don't text message, don't go where he lives, don't go where he works. Don't contact him through any social media, no contact of any kind, okay?
Very good, yes,
Very
sir.
good. I'll have you back in court on July 12th. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, okay?
Very good, yes, sir.
Thank you. Carmelo Ortiz. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
January 1580.
Charges battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself and hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll point to PD. State.
In state of showing an adjudication for paraphernalia January of this year out of Pasco. He is showing as a multi-source offender, but I was not provided that history this morning. Also, so the court is aware, the victim is present, has concerns, wants to ask for peaceful contact. They have a minor, very minor child in common, and there are also medical concerns if you allow her to address that.
Okay. All right. So hang on one second on that. Carmelo, I have an address for you on Malio Road in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yeah,
How long have you lived there?
probably like 3 years.
Okay. And Miss Casanova lives there with you?
Yes.
Very good. You have a job these days?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I still got it, but I work in Walmart DC distribution like for 3 years already.
Okay. Very good. Miss Casanova, you want to come forward? Raise your right hand for me. Solemnly swear firm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
State your name.
Maribel Casanova,
Miss Casanova, how long have you known Carmelo here?
a year and a half.
Okay. And that baby in my,
Yes.
that's his?
Yes.
And yours?
Yes.
Okay. And are you concerned that Carmelo's going to hurt you or harm you at all?
No, sir.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you to get you to come here and ask for contact?
No, sir.
And you'd like to have contact?
Yes.
Very good. All right. So, Carmelo, I'm going to set your bond at $500. Condition of the bond is that you have peaceful contact with Ms. Casanova. It is always a crime to touch this young lady any way she does not want to be touched. It would be a violation of your conditions of pretrial release if you so much as raise your voice. So any contact that you have with her must be able to be described as peaceful contact. Ms. Casanova, if I hear that he's had any contact with you that you wouldn't describe as peaceful, then his bond will be revoked. He'll be taken back to jail. If anything happens that you think requires calling 911, you should call 911. They'll call just like they ever would, come just like they ever would, okay?
Okay.
All right. Carmelo, I'm going to have you back in court on July 12th. Very important that you contact the public defender's office when you get out. Ms. Casanova, it's important that you stay in touch with the state attorney's office and let them know what you think and what you want to do, okay?
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Brian Vincent. Afternoon, Brian. What's your date of birth?
12980.
Brian, I have three charges today. First, I have a resisting without violence. And then I have a burglary of a dwelling and a criminal mischief. As to the resisting, I found probable cause. State as to the burglary, I'm going to find probable cause, but not the criminal mischief, because the criminal mischief is clearly based on the PC affidavit, part and parcel of the burglary.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, as to the two charges I'm finding a PC for, Brian, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Yeah, I understand. That's not what I was arrested for, to my knowledge. That's not what was said to me yesterday. Could you repeat that again?
Sure. Burglary of a dwelling is what you got arrested for, and resisting without violence.
I was only arrested for, I believe they said, well, it was only one charge.
Okay. You want to argue with me about it, or do you think I probably got it right?
I guess I just don't understand.
Well, you got booked on 3 charges. I'm finding probable cause for 2 of them. So that's the answer. Okay? Whether you understand it or not, whether you're confused about it or not, the answer is, as you're standing there right now, you have 2 charges. One's a felony, one's a misdemeanor. And the only question we need to answer now is, are you going to hire a private lawyer? You want the public defender? Or are you going to represent yourself?
I'm going to try to get a private lawyer.
Very good. State, what can you tell me?
It appears he has 2 cases that were reopened in Citrus County. One of them was on PTI in May of this year for grand theft or vehicle theft, and the other one was also on PTI for criminal mischief, $1,000 or more, false ID to law enforcement, and theft, $300 or more but less than $5,000. There's an adjudication for DUI 2014 out of Hernando, adjudication for trespass 2014 out of Hernando. An action was dropped for aggravated battery, great bodily harm 2014 out of Hernando. Withhold improper exhibition of a firearm 2013 out of Hernando. Withhold violation of pretrial release, domestic violence conditions, that's 2013, and that same case was a battery, null pros, and those are also Hernando, single source offender.
Okay. Brian, I have an address for you on Great Fox Drive in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
About 8 years.
Right. Do you have a job these days?
No, I don't.
Okay. So on the resisting case, on the misdemeanor, I'm going to set a bond of $100. That one's coming back on the 12th of July. On the burglary, we're going to set a bond of $10,000. In that case, I didn't find any PC on the criminal mischief, so that's ROR. So your total is $10,100 all the way around. The burglary is coming back on the 19th of July. So it's 2 different dates, the 12th and the 19th. So when you speak to a lawyer, make sure they know about both charges and both dates, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Very good, thank you. Theodore Wilson. Afternoon, Theodore. What's your date of birth?
10/26/76.
Theodore, the charge is battery. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender for now.
I'll appoint the public defender for now. State, what can you tell me?
Showing an action was dropped for battery in 2013 out of Manatee County. Withhold out of Sarasota County 2013 for conservation of animals, torment, deprive, mutilate, kill, and confinement of animals without sufficient food, water, or exercise. An action was dropped for battery 2010 out of Sarasota. Adjudication, driving while license suspended 2009 out of Sarasota. Another driving while license suspended. Adjudication 2008 out of Sarasota. Adjudication for paraphernalia and disorderly conduct in 2008 out of Sarasota. Adjudication for controlled substance without prescription 2008 out of Sarasota. Adjudication for petty theft, second conviction 2007 out of Sarasota. Adjudication for fish and wildlife violation 2007 out of Sarasota. An action was dropped for controlled substance without prescription in 2006. Adjudication for driving while license suspended 2004 out of Sarasota. And some other driving while license suspended charges. And he's showing as a multi-source offender, but again, I was not provided the out-of-state history.
Theodore, where you been living lately?
Hudson.
Got an address?
Arapika. I've head injury, so you got to work with me.
I'm working, but you're giving me 2 places now. Hudson, which is in Pasco County, and Arapika, which is in Hernando County. So which
Arapika, right up 19 and Owen Drive.
Okay. How long have you lived there?
Off and on for about 2 years.
All right. Do you have a job these days?
Disabled.
Okay. I'm going to leave your bond at the $1,000. Condition of the bond is that you'll have no contact with Thomas Hanel. And we'll have you back in court on the 12th of July. If you get out, it's very important that you contact the public defender right away. If you can't get out, they're going to come see you at the jail before you go to court again, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah? You have a question?
Yeah, all those charges, a lot of those are not guilty.
I understand that. Theodore, I set your bond per the schedule. I didn't go hard on you.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Good. All right, you got my link coming.